guys, it's Kelly here, and I am back with another video for Honeybee Stamps. Today's video is an edited live replay from some cards that we made. We are using the In Stitches Holly and then the In Stitches Snowflake bookmark, but we're not using them to stitch, and we are using them to make some cards because sometimes we don't feel like stitching. So here I'm just kind of showing how they look when they are stitched. I cut out two of the hollies that have the details, and then the two of the half snowflakes. The other pieces, and the holly berries, obviously. But the other pieces I don't need. Like, I don't need the backer piece for the holly, and I don't need the bookmark pieces, because we're just going to use these as is to create some focal points. So for the background, I decided that I was going to keep it pretty simple with just some ink blending. For the snowflake card, I started with colored cardstock. This is Passionate Pink from Gina K, and the picked raspberry you can't really see, and I totally get that, but it's kind of like putting down primer before you paint. It does add a little bit of color, but mostly it adds a little bit of moisture for the next layer of ink to kind of sit on and blend with, and this is going to help just give us an all-over better blend. So from the picked raspberry, we went to Seedless Preserves and then Villainous Potion. Pink is pink controversial for holidays? I don't know. I like it. I like it. Maybe it's because I'm not that big of a red fan. So like pink is a suitable alternative for me. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I do use classic Christmas colors though. But it's pretty much the only time I'm really using red. So anyway, so the secret to getting good ink blending is doing it at least two times. And so I did the picked raspberry to the Seedless Preserves, and then now we're going out to the Villainous Potion. It does blend, but it's not like a super great 100% blend. And so we will be able to achieve that with going back over it a second time. Oh, it just froze. I guess my feed must have froze. Anyway, so just doing those two times, and then for this one I did the colored cardstock with that's like the base of my focal point, because I wanted my snowflake to be white-ish. And then for the holly, I'm going to flip it, and the base is going to be colored cardstock, and we're going to do the ink blending on white. So anywho, this is kind of a shorter video for me. It was a shorter live for me too. None of my lives are short. Like I still think it was like a little over an hour. But so that means once we kind of like pare it down, it's not as long as it would normally be. For the holly, I chose to go with a yellow green. Why do you ask? Because yellow green is pink's complement, and they will work very nicely together. I'm also going to do my berries pink. And so for here, I decided to go with kind of a diagonal design, and my lightest color is my Twisted Citron to Mowed Lawn to Rustic Wilderness, and this is going to give us a design where the center stays white. I do like brushes best for blending a light color out into white. I think they give the softest blend. And so doing this is going to help create balance in our design, and then we'll be able to do the hollies to the left and the right. So if you wait, I was talking about the length of my video, if you hang out all the way until the end, just like those poor people in my life, they actually asked, one of them asked if they could see my M&M. You can also see Molly sleeping in the back. But so I did leave that little clip in at the very end, just so you could see her beautiful face. She's such a good girl. She has been, I say she's such a good girl, but she is kind of naughty. I don't think I told this story. My husband, who's wonderful, very involved father, he is fantastic and we adore him. We're all very lucky to have him. decided that the one day he was going to, he got up with our daughter and they made pancakes, and they made chocolate chip pancakes, and one of the in one of the pancakes she wanted to make a butterfly. And so he made her special butterfly pancake, and she ate her other pancakes. My son had also some pancakes, but there was like 2 pancakes left and the butterfly pancake when she went up for her nap, and it was sitting on the kitchen table, like just on a plate, because Peanut was kind of like grabbing pancakes as he went by, like he didn't sit down and like eat them. So let's go back to the card. So here, now that our ink blending is done, I am, speaking of the dogs, right? I am going to do some spatters of clean water. Now this is going to work different on the white cardstock than it will on the colored cardstock. It will still work with both because they have those distress inks on top of them. So it will work to bleach them out. Just the ones on the colored cardstock will not be as light because obviously it's not going to bleach the paper. Whereas the one on the actual white cardstock will read a little bit lighter. And then we're also going to do some Perfect Pearl spatters because, snowflakes and snow and shimmer, and I don't need an excuse. It's my card and I like shimmer, so that's why I'm doing it. So anywho, he was like kind of like snacking as he went by. So my husband went out to cut the grass, and I took Jelly Bean up to lay her down for her nap. And then when I came back downstairs, the butterfly pancake was gone. And so I said to my son, I was like, did you eat your sister's butterfly pancake? Let's go back to the card. So here, I'm just trying to find a good color match with my Olo markers because I'm not as comfortable with my color schemes yet. So I'm just looking to see what's going to work the best. I ended up doing just a little bit of pink in the center of my snowflake and letting the edges be white because it's a snowflake. They would traditionally be white. But I did want to show you can leave them just white and not add the pink and it will be fine. This was just like a way to dress it up a little fancy. So I'm only going to use 2 colors. I'm going to use like a light medium pink, and then I'm going to blend that out with a light pink, and it'll blend out to that white. And I'm going to keep it where they're going to join together. And then the other combination, the darker pink combination, I'm going to use that for the berries of the holly. And then originally I also colored my sentiment that color, but I ended up liking the white better, so I changed it. But anywho, I left it in there just in case you're like, I want to see how that worked. So anyway, of course, I asked my son, like, did you eat your sister's butterfly pancake? And he was like, no, I didn't. I ate the other ones. And I was like, did your dad come in from cutting the grass? And he was like, no. And I was like, where did this butterfly pancake go then? And he's looking at me and he was like, I didn't eat the butterfly pancake. And now I'm like, did he? Did he not? Like, is he being truthful? I can't tell. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, Mom, I did not eat the butterfly pancake. And so he's pretty adamant. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't really know what happened. And he said, well, maybe one of the dogs ate it. And I was like, one of the dogs did not eat it. Like, it was in the middle of the kitchen table, dude. One of the dogs did not eat this butterfly pancake. And so then, like, I went outside and asked my husband, and I was like, did you? And he was like, no, I didn't come in. I didn't eat the butterfly. Like, why would I eat her butterfly pancake? And I was like, I don't know, but it's gone. And I don't know where it is. And so we do have a camera. And so I played it back. And I'm, it's like person talking, pet, this, that, whatever. And so I'm watching it. I'm having to watch, the whole time I'm up there putting her in her nap, right? I don't want to jump around and miss what happened to it. So I'm committed to it at this point. And sure enough, he was being honest and he was also right. About, 20-ish minutes after I went up to put her up for her nap, Emma got up on her back legs onto my kitchen, like she put her front paws onto my kitchen table and scooted the plate over so that she could snag part of the butterfly pancake that was hanging off, and she ate it. She ate the whole thing. Yep. the whole thing. And so this has begun a real problem for Eminem, because now she's just been eating stuff off of the counter, which she has never done before. Let's go back to the coloring. So here, with the holly, I just traced the detail, like the embossed detail that's in there with my darkest color, and then where it kind of pushes in, like where each of the leaves segment is meeting the middle, I did just a little bit of color. And then of course I added the darkest part where those berries are going to sit, because we add shadows where one thing sits on top of the other. And then from here, I am going to add more color, working out to my lightest color. Somebody did ask in the live if I poke out all the holes. I don't bother poking out the holes, whether I'm stitching or I'm not, because as you work with them, they just kind of fall out. And you'll see, especially with coloring them, when I'm done, there's just like a bunch that are left on the on the work surface. Like they just kind of fall out as you're adding the moisture to them. So, or you can use a dye release tool, which I did have to use for just a couple of them. I have a new one that is not bent, but I could not find it. So I did have to use my old bent one. Please know the one that I linked below is not bent. That was that one's so old. That's actually the one that stabbed my husband in the foot. You guys remember that story? But anyway, so I have it even though it is bent and busted, because I keep everything just in case I might need it. And look at what happened here today. I couldn't find the good one, and so I had to use the old busted up one. So anywho, so she has started eating things off of not just like the counter, like the end tables. And like Molly has never done that, and Emma never did either. So I'm not sure if it's because like my children are like, I'm not there to be like, hey, you need to make sure you're cleaning up your stuff. And so sometimes they're leaving wrappers. But like, this is new to us. So, you know, keep that in mind when I tell you the story. She has never done this before. So we are not in the mode of making sure that everything is cleaned up off the counters when we are leaving her unsupervised. Consequently, our little moo cow ate an entire bag of Halloween candy on Halloween night. Like, I don't mean like a bag like of the kids' candy. I mean like one of the bags that we bought to open and put out for Halloween. She snagged it off the counter and she ate it. Now, for most dogs, I would be very, very concerned because that is probably a lot of chocolate. For this dog, I just gave her water and monitored her, because when she was a puppy, she did this as well. And she, little Peanut, who at the time was 6, I think, he loves those Andes mints, and my mom would buy him those Andes mints, and he wanted to keep the Andes mints all to himself. He was not into sharing at the time. And so when he brought them home from Nana and Papa's, he decided that he was going to hide them. But he's just little, so there's not a lot of places that he could hide them. So he decided that he was going to hide them in the shoe closet. Well, needless to say, it did not take Emma, at the time, who was not even 2 years old, very long to find the Andes mints, and she ate them all, including their sparkly foil wrapper. She ate the whole thing. And she was never even sick. She was totally fine. So that is why this time around I was like, I'm just going to monitor her, because that's basically what the vet told me to do last time. So anywho, so now we're having to clean up a lot, and we're having to be a little bit more discerning with our, our training of Miss Emma, because apparently she is gaining some bad habits. Yeah, I don't know why all of a sudden, maybe because Jelly Bean's a little bit older. Maybe she leaves, her stuff unsupervised. But she's so funny too, because then she'll be like, oh, I wanted to share my cheese with the dogs, but now the dogs won't get out of my face. Like, girl, self-fulfilling prophecy. You've done this to yourself. If you fed the dogs your cheese and then you thought you were going to be able to eat your cheese in peace, you have another thing coming. That is an error on your part, my love. Okay, so here we're gluing the things together, and I well, like I put my little foam tape on there and I was getting ready to put it on there. And then I was like, no, I haven't added the glitter yet. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. And honestly, if you weren't going to color it and add the little bit of pink, you could probably just cut it out of white glitter cardstock and that would be great. That would be an easy way to do it. I instead am going to cover my snowflake in Stardust Stickles, which is my favorite stickles. Because they have like rainbow sparkles. And then I am going to pop up my sentiment over top of it. These sentiments, by the way, are from what is it? Simply Stated, I think. Simply Stated Holiday. And I stamped them and die cut them. And then I have this little, my little craft catcher that has all my sentiments in there. And I've just been picking through them and using them as I needed. It's worked wonderfully. So then also I decided to use I don't tend to use a lot of the large rhinestones. This is the rainbow rhinestone mix, and it does come with a bunch of different sizes, which I love, huge fan of. But I don't use the large ones very often. But this is a perfect place to use the larger ones. So I use the largest size and then the next size down to add some bling to my snowflakes. And then you can, of course, add as much or as little as you like. You could even like put them on the end of the snowflakes, like on the actual cardstock to kind of change the shape. That would be great too. So there are lots of different ways that you can kind of dress that up. For the holly, like I said, we are mounting this onto colored cardstock. I think this is Christmas pine. And then I am going to put my holly down diagonal. You could adhere them like the same way we did the snowflakes, like straight up and down. But connecting them with the sentiment like we did with the snowflake would be a little bit challenging because of the berries. Like you would cover up the berries. But anywho, speaking of the berries, I added glitter to those too. And so here, this one, this Merry and Bright, is a good size to kind of connect them. There is still a little bit of like a gap between the two in the design. And so in order to fill that in and create balance, I'm going to use those rhinestones again. Originally, I tried pulling out I think they were pearls, but they were like a really pretty pink color. And it actually was competing, and I didn't want that to be competing with the berries. So instead, I just went back to my neutral rainbow rhinestones and filled that in there in that diagonal. And then that is it. That is both cards. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you are inspired to maybe use your stitching dies a little bit differently. So thank you so much. And please enjoy this little snippet of Miss M&M. I will catch you on the next video. Bye. Come here. Can you see her? Here, you gotta come back up here. Shake it off, girl. Shake it off. They can't see you. Here. Molly's sleeping in the back. You see her? They can't see your beautiful face. Here. Come here. Come here. Come here. There you are. There's a big girl. There's a big girl. Look at your little tail in the background. It's a weapon. All right. They wanted to see your beautiful face. They want to see your beautiful face. Yes. She is a love bug. That is 100% true. That's all she wants. Her little booty's going in the background. All right. Can you get down? Please. Go on. Off. M&M. Go on. Careful. I know it's dangerous in here.